I would like to welcome Dr. Tripathi on stage, and maybe I'd like to talk to him for a few minutes before we hand over the mic to him. Please welcome him. Tripathi sir, very, very glad to have you here. Okay, so before I hand over the mic to you, maybe we'll have a little bit of a talk for a few minutes and ask you, as a normal medical doctor, how is it that you got into this particular line of work?
So it's something that goes into childhood also in terms of living a purposeful life, and after medicine it was not regular practice for me. It was doing corporate health and stress management programs, and while I was doing that from 2000 to 2011, Dr. Nandita Shah's interaction on reversing diabetes clicked a bell, and that's how I explored Dr. Bernard, Dr. Cousins, Dr. McDougall, Dr. Foreman, Dr. Fongs, many of them, and then started experimenting from 2013, and yeah, the results are very much visible. Now we've got the largest database of video testimonials, 1200 plus people on video, 1200 plus on video, who are telling that they are free of tablets and insulin. That's the largest database in the entire world.
One more question I want to ask you, this is all American concept, Esselstyn and Caldwell and Foreman and Ornish. And in India, did you expect that this kind of a treatment, this kind of an approach, what kind of a reception did you get? You think people would welcome with open arms? Would there be resistance? What did you face and how did you overcome it?
So actually I didn't think of that much practically, because what matters is results. So you put them off milk, put them on the smoothie, and the works. Within 3 days the sugars drop. So I don't give too much of energy to thoughts or events which are contrary. So I didn't think of it much. I just kept on doing my work, and it just kept increasing exponentially. That's how it's been.
Perhaps you'd like to share with us maybe a couple of more minutes, one or two of the most interesting patients or cases, challenging things that you handled.
So yeah, drum beats. They're adding kind of joy to this talk. Now let's enjoy. How wonderful. Nitya would have been here in the morning, so very dear friend. So it's happened, it's closed. He's listened to your words. Yeah, one of the first few cases, I think it's around the 4th or 5th batch in 2013. The name of the person was Sanjay Bagde, and he was around 55 years young, old, whatever. 12 years on insulin, 65 units. And that time we didn't have WhatsApp, we didn't have FFD app, so we didn't have a mechanism of getting them report to us systematically. So they would send their sugar levels through SMS. Okay. So they would send their sugar levels through SMS. And I still remember his SMSs. The first SMS, sugar level fasting, 256. So those who are diabetic, they know what that number means, okay? So first day fasting is 256. Second day the fasting is 141. Second day, huh? Third day the fasting is 93. So all these three numbers are etched in my memories, okay? 256, 141, 93. What he did was stop the milk, started the smoothie, all that stuff. Now as a medical doctor, we are not trained to dramatically reduce medications very quickly. So I had to overcome my own fears to reduce his insulin. But I've been a risk taker, so there was a part of mine which was kind of questioning what I'm doing. There was another part, just go ahead. So I told him knock off 5 units in the morning, 5 in the evening. And I think next day he came to 120 something. And then we kept reducing 3 units, 2 units, sometimes not reducing. And in 14 days flat, he was free of insulin, which he was taking for 12 years. 65 units, 55-year-old person. He's still free, Sanjay Bagde. And I think that is a moment which kind of shifted me and brought me a lot of joy and excitement. And then I realized that once more and more people become free, it becomes normal. So there was another patient who was an IATN and IIM Ahmedabad, SR Sharma. So he was on 52 units of insulin. He was diabetic for 20 years. And I think 10 years he was on insulin out of diabetes for 20 years. So as his sugars were coming down, I was reducing his insulin, okay? Then he sends me an SMS a few days before when his insulin is going to stop. He says, "Doctor, this is crazy. I am finding it very uncomfortable. I am scared because I'm so used to plonking my arm before I eat. Okay, and I feel comfort. I feel comfortable the moment I have put an injection. I feel comfortable. I feel safe. And the way it's going, and he was an intelligent person. IIT Delhi, I am Ahmedabad. So he was very intelligent. So he said, I'm feeling scared of what's going to happen now. And spontaneously something interesting came up through me. And I just wrote back to him saying that, you know, a miracle remains a miracle till you don't experience it. Okay? Miracle remains a miracle till you don't experience it. Once you experience it, and once you experience it repeatedly, then it becomes technology. Okay, it becomes technology which you can also start using predictably. So that's what came up, and then he was free. He's still free. He's become a mentor. He's a family friend. He's talked this stuff with you. Yeah. So he's lost some 27, 28 kgs of weight, and a lot of changes have happened in his life. So those are a couple of cases that come to my mind as you kind of trigger my thoughts.
Okay. So that's also, I'll now, thank you very much. So now I'll hand over to him for the formal presentation. So I thought we'll just get a little bit of background or feel of the thing, you know, so that you get an idea of what this whole thing is all about and the importance, the sheer importance of the work that Dr. Tripathi is doing here. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you so much. So I'll be using the slides as a support mechanism to just keep you on track with what is to be shared, because there's a lot to be shared, okay? And I know the time is kind of really pressing over here. We need to kind of gather the best and the highest data that is possible. So yeah, the talk is on diabetes, obesity and lifestyle diseases. So let's just go ahead to the next slide. This is my background which is already given, so let's go ahead. So third slide, slow. So I don't know if it's going to be visible from far, but this is a case study which has gone for publishing now. Okay, it's already accepted in one of the journals. It's of a biochemist from BJ Medical in Pune. His name is Rahul Girme. So when you're talking of diabetes, lifestyle, everything, we need to understand it specifically. So I've taken this case study purposefully. 46 years young, 13 years of diabetes, grade 2 or 3 fatty liver, high cholesterol, so is on statins also, and also onset of blood pressure. Okay, so all this comes together, you know, it's all brothers and sisters of the same thing: the diabetes, the obesity, the blood pressure, the high cholesterol, and then the, of course, the heart disease and all the other things. So 13 years diabetes, free of medicine in 10 days. Okay, GTT. So one of the things which we are very famous for is making diabetics eat, or let's say drink, 15 spoons of sugar, glucose to be more specific, as a part of a test called as the glucose tolerance test. Okay, it's very difficult for a ex-diabetic to ever clear it, and we've got a few who have cleared it. So can I just request those who have cleared GTT to stand up wherever they are? So some of them. So Makarand Bhagwat is here. Makarand, how many years diabetes? 10 years diabetes is cleared GTT. You've got Sanjeev Nimkar over there standing. Sanjeev is a unique case because he was on insulin also and tablets also. And when you are put on insulin, you are told that now your pancreas are dead, they don't secrete insulin, so forget about, you know, going off insulin. He's not only got rid of insulin, he's also got rid of tablets, and he's also handled 15 spoons of sugar going into his body at one go with normal sugar after 2 hours. So he's cleared the glucose tolerance test. So that's something very special about Sanjeev. If time permitting, I'll ask you to speak also later. Let me just go through the whole thing first. So Rahul, we've got an army of GTT pass people, okay? It's the biggest army in the entire country, maybe in the entire world also, because usually nobody is putting their diabetic patients to GTT after medicines are stopped. So it's the biggest database. It's 200 plus people who have cleared it. So he cleared it. 17 kgs weight loss in 6 months. Anybody over here wanting to undergo weight loss, fat loss? So a lot of us. So it's very simple. Switch to a whole food plant-based diet, make some changes in exercise and all that. So 17 kg 6 months. He was 86. He is 69. He continues to remain 69. Okay. Fatty liver completely normalized. It took a year plus for him, but fatty liver completely normalized. And then he was also having acid reflux. So a lot of patients not only have diabetes, but they also have some acidity, some constipation, some other issues also along with that, okay? So that has completely gone, acid reflux gone, constipation gone, statins gone, BP gone. So he is a case of metabolic disorder reversing completely, okay, completely, and he has cleared GTD thrice. Means every year he's clearing. It's not that he's cleared once and then it's failed again. So he's cleared. So it's a very interesting case which connects us with the theory that freedom is possible not only from diabetes but also from blood pressure and obesity and cholesterol and heart and many other things. So let's just go ahead. Second thing, when I sent my introduction, what do you say, a month back, at that time this paper wasn't published. So we are very happy and excited to communicate to all of you that the biggest paper from India on whole food plant-based diet has got published in the International Journal of Diabetes and Endocrinology just 2 weeks back. And this paper has data of 259 patients who have gone through the whole diet and change in exercise. Exercise was about anti-gravity, not just walking but going against gravity. And then what happened with them. So let's just go on this. You can read this online. So you can go to online, you can just type International Journal of Diabetes and Endocrinology, download the paper. It's an 8-page paper. We have worked on this paper for 2 years plus. And then it's got published. Very interesting paper. So just go ahead. So total 386 patients, out of which 259 completed the study. 10 to 14 weeks time frame is when we measure the reports again and what's happened to their HbA1c and OH. So let's just go ahead. So this is the statistic over there. So just to keep it simple, 73%, which means out of 4 people, 3 of them went off insulin. 68%, which is out of 3 people, 2 people went off insulin and tablets both. Okay, and 38%, so let's say 1 out of 3 went off tablets. So that's the whole graphs given over there. Let's just go ahead. And 54% have their HbA1c with stoppage of medicines below 7. With stoppage of medicines below 7, 54%, and 80% have them reduced, which means they have not stopped the medicines but their HbA1c and sugar levels have reduced and their medicines have reduced. So there is a lot of graphs in this, you can go into it. So what's the long story? The long story is since 2013 to 2018, mainly working out of Pune, a little bit through Bombay and some cities in Maharashtra. We've got 1000 plus off insulin, 5000 plus off tablets. Let's move through this fast. Interestingly, 500 plus are off hypertension tablets, 1000 are off cholesterol statins, and 2000 plus, we never kind of share it loudly and clearly enough, but 2000 plus are off 10 plus kgs of weight, okay, in a matter of let's say 3 to 6 months time, okay. So largest database of GT past participant, let's move this fast, blah blah blah. So every year we do this, so let's stop over here. So this was just a built up of the actual results when you talk of freedom, what it is like and what is a long and a big picture. Now I just want to spend some time, it's not about just sharing with you that it's a very rosy story and this is the story, but how has the story come about, okay. The story has come about by innovation, okay, lot of innovation, and the innovation has been done on 4 fronts. 4 fronts. Are there anyone, ऐसा कोई है जो इंग्लिश से अनकंफर्टेबल है? Not okay with following, थोड़ा बहुत, ठीक है. So little bit of Hindi I'll use. So 4 चीजों के ऊपर ये सब जबरदस्त रिजल्ट आया हुआ है. 4 things. So one is we've got a very interesting innovative diet protocol. We've got a powerful exercise protocol and then a very interesting inner transformation protocol also, which is all about stress, goal setting, and maturing in certain subtler emotions. And there is an extremely interesting medical protocol. I see some more people coming in. One of them who's coming in has a son who was type 1. If you want to share, Ruturva Vigasia, Ruturva is here. So that boy over there was diagnosed as a type 1. Okay, thankfully he came early to us. He's off insulin and his C-peptide is normalized now. So let's give a hand to Ruturva. So we've got around 4 or 5 patients on type 1 who've been off insulin or who done really well. So So anyway, these are the four things which we kind of do. I'll just share details about each one of them also. What do we do under each one of them? So please make your notes or observations as you can. Uh, Before we come to the protocols, it's good to understand the background why these four protocols. And just go back one more slide. The medical protocol is also important. Like while you make changes in diet and exercise, very important that you adjust the doses properly. You also take the right supplements because that really accelerates your journey. So you need to have a very integrated view of the whole thing, not get fanatic about any one aspect, because the moment you get results from one aspect, it's very common for a human being to become fanatic about that one part, to treat that one part as the whole truth. But the whole truth always reveals over a longer period of time when you're more open. Okay, so we take all these four along with each other, and it's based on around 7 or 8 core understandings. One is that fat is creating a lot of havoc in terms of resistance, which is of course understood by many. What is not understood by many is acid and inflammation. The kind of inflammatory lifestyle or diet we are undergoing, which creates a lot of resistance to insulin. It could start with the morning tea, which is very innocent, without sugar, with two very safe biscuits, which could be Mari or digestive, whatever you take, okay? That's the starting point of acid and inflammation. Going into the poha upma and the idli dosa, which is coming from refined grains. It's not whole food plant-based diet. The poha, the upma, the idli, the dosa, it's white rice. So no matter how popular the person who's conveying about it, it's not whole food plant-based diet. It is going to shoot up your sugars. So acid inflammation starts with that. Third thing which adds on to that is the American wheat, which could be the Lokwan or Sihor wheat as we know it. That increases the acid inflammation. Lastly, it's very common in Bombay to eat late, reach home late, and sleep late. So all those contributory factors add on to the inflammation part, okay? So that's the core thing. Third is IGF and ages, which is all about dairy. So milk, curds, buttermilk, cheese, paneer, ghee, bread, biscuit, loni, makhan, whatever you kind of so-called think as healthy or complete food or right food or whatever, experiment for a week by going off it and see what happens. These molecules are going to go out of your body, which are going to create insulin resistance. IGF and age. Age stands for advanced glycated end products. Okay, you got a very interesting mechanism. When you, like, if I just connect back to the story, how on earth a 256 fasting comes down to 141, comes down to 93 in 3 days? How can it happen? Is he losing so much of fat in a day? No. Is he losing a lot of acid in a day? Maybe moderately. Major thing is the dairy. Dairy is the biggest killer. Those who know it, know it. Those who don't know it, know it. Okay, just know it now, because we can't keep loitering around, beating around the bush. It is a problem. Then comes lack of micronutrients. Sometimes some big people, again they avoid micronutrients intake through supplements, which should not be done. We should be taking it, but of course, you don't have to go overboard on it. The soaked nuts, seeds, sprouts, salads, you need to increase them. Their chutneys, everything is very, very crucial. So lack of micronutrients, because they help you to convert the glucose into energy. Okay. Then is something very interesting called a stagnated lymph, which is stuck up blood. Okay. Most of the people will again be walking and not doing many other exercises. They hardly ever bend the spine completely, and a lot of stuck up blood or acid is built up around the spine, in the front and behind. So we need to be able to bend the spine through a chair Surya Namaskar if you can't do a normal Surya Namaskar. कुर्सी के ऊपर बहुत अच्छा सूर्य नमस्कार होता है. You should try that out, okay? You need to move the stuck up blood through the skin, through the joints, through the muscles, through the deep tissues. And we've got a beautiful exercise called the world's best warm up. What did I say? Can't hear from everyone. What did I say? So world's best warm up. Go to YouTube and just type world's best warm up, freedom from diabetes or Dr. Pramod. See 4 exercises in that. There's a little bit of rubbing, joint play, shaking and tapping. Very interestingly kind of put together. It gets you to move the stuck up blood, the stuck up lymph, okay? Removes the acid from your system, reduces it. That's a very core area of our work. Another core area of work is strength and stamina building. It's the muscle which is utilizing the glucose and the fat throughout the day. If you're stuck up again with just walking, you're not building the muscle. It's between the age of 30 to 65 when you need to take time out and do some therabands, do some stair climbing, do some weight training. Because that is what is going to be useful for you when you become 70 and 75. So you really need to invest in muscle building, increase a lean muscle mass. And last, of course, we all know the stressful part of our life. So stressful emotions create an impact. So the whole thing is modeled around this. There are two more causes, but I'm not getting too technical about it. So what do we do? So yeah, this is a picture. Just go ahead. This is a typical picture of the muscle cell which has insulin attaching, and then IGF and age is creating a problem inside it. So let's go. In the diet protocol, we do 3 phases. So now we come to the heart of the whole FFD protocols. Okay. So just go ahead. We've got 3 phases to the diet protocol. First phase is called the adjustment phase, where you give up animal products, you shift to a whole food plant-based diet, you have the green smoothie in the morning. For breakfast, you'll have 25% sprouts, 25% salads, 50% chila, dirda, dhokla, dosa, appe, thalipit, whatever, pudla, handwo, khandwo, whatever coming from dal. It will be moong, uda, chana, whatever. So no grain till lunch because grains contain 80% sugar. Dals contain 60% sugar. So you go for a 50% raw, which is 25% sprouts and salads, and 50% all of this stuff, which is very simple and tasty. In the lunch and dinner, another typical Indian mistake is you have more grains and less of dal and sabzi and salad. So if you take a fulka, take a katori of dal, take a katori of sabzi, take a katori of salad. So take equal quantities of grain, dal, sabzi, salad. If you want one more fulka, one more katori, repeat of dal, sabzi and salad. Usually no one goes more than 2 fulkas because it's very difficult to have 3 katoris of dal. So automatically the grain comes down, the sugar comes down. Because the sugar comes down, the fat comes down. Okay. So that's what happens in the, you go for a 1 grain meal. So there's a focus on increasing the raw food, greens, dals, nuts and seeds. Then this will go on for let's say 4 or 6 weeks. Then we put them on to juice feasting, which is by Dr. Gabriel Cousins, which is done daily with him. For 7 days, 21 days, we put them off on 1 day a week. And then there's a very interesting intermittent fasting protocol where they have food thrice a day on Monday, twice on Tuesday, thrice on Wednesday, twice on Thursday, and 3-2-3-2-3-2 cycle, then 2-2 cycle, then 2-1 cycle, then 1-1 cycle, 1-0-1 cycle, then long fast, 48 hours not to eat. Now, if you try to do it alone, it's very difficult. I don't find anyone doing it by themselves alone. There's a lot of block that a diabetic cannot fast. Okay, and even if you try to fast, your sugars are going to go low, your medicine has to be adjusted, and so many things are involved in it. So when you're reporting to a doctor daily and doing it safely, then it really works wonders. It gives tremendous results when you really invoke, deeper healing within you, which happens through intermittent fasting. That's phase 2. Phase 3 becomes individualization and experimentation. So that's the phase by which 60-70% people are free. They want to try this, they want to try that, depending on their caste, religion, culture and likings and family pressures. So based on that, we give them a free hand. You are free to try whatever you want as long as it satisfies the tuchuk condition. Tuchuk condition is like your sugar needs to come below 140 after whatever you want to have, you have, okay? So depending on their level of reversal, they would experiment, okay? So a guy like, let's say, person who's done the GTT, we are going plant-based, but 2 gulab jams, 5 jalebis, masala bath, varan bath, 116, 13 years diabetic, free. So that level of experimentation is also done by people, okay, where they have a full Naivedya ka thali on a Dashara day or Diwali. Will everyone be able to do it? May not be. But there are enough number of people who have done it. So we kind of focus on individualization and experimentation, make them responsible, make them independent, make them choose what is right for them over a period of time. Most of them choose what will satisfy 140. Above 140, come back to the mainstream. It's very simple. So that's how the diet is kind of phased out. Then comes the exercise protocol. In exercise protocol, we've got the lymphatic and energy movement thing, which I already shared with you in terms of world's best warm-up activity. we've installed a trampoline in a residential facility. So how people take help of us? Two ways. One is called a non-residential intensive 1 year long support program where they don't have to come and stay. Second is a residential facility. So when they come for the residential 7 day, there's a trampoline installed over there. So they go up and down the trampoline, and that's very powerful to move the lymph, stuck up blood upwards. Anti-gravity strength building, stair climbing. Second very interesting one is Dr. Mercola's nitric oxide dump. Okay, it's a little hard over here. Otherwise, I would have made you do it. It's very interesting. I just show it to you. You go up and down, squats 20 times. You alternate hands 20 times. You go this way 20 times, and you go this way 20 times. So it's a mild anti-gravity exercise and gives very interesting feelings, emotions, and results. It also lowers your blood pressure. Then there is resistance band, which is TheraBands. You use them to build your muscles. It's weight training. Many people who have never gone to the gym in their 40s and 50s and 60s, they get so motivated they go to the gym, start lifting up weights. Many people have never run a marathon, and we've got an army of 60 plus people who run 10 and 21 kilometer marathons. Recently there's a 65-year young guy who went to Leh Ladakh and ran a full 21 kilometer marathon at a very high level, which even youngsters find it difficult to do at times. So there's a gradual step-by-step systematic reversal and increment in the exercise pattern. Stamina building will be done by simple thing like walking. Like people don't want to give up walk. So we said continue walking. If you can add a little bit of jogging, do that. So 1 minute jog, 1 minute walk, 1 minute jog, 1 minute walk. Try to make it to 2 minute jogs, 1 minute walk, then 3 minute jogs, 1 minute walk. Just try and increase your capacity. Diet is the first entry point for people to reverse. It's easy to follow and it's easy and quick to get results. Exercise takes a little time for people to make changes in. If you exercise too much, suddenly you fall sick. And we know that from experience. Okay, you can't suddenly increase it. It has to be very gradual. So that's how we go about gradually increasing it. And there's a specially evolved yoga sequence which has its base from S. Vyasa, Bangalore, with the Yoga Institute of Diabetes Management. They've got a whole movement going on it. So that's how we approach exercise in a very integrated way. Then we go on to the stress or the inner transformation protocol. You need to remind me of the time available. So there are 3 parts in it. 25 minutes left. Okay, so we can take a lot of questions then. The 3 parts to inner transformation. Okay, and this is understood only a little later. Once you start the diet, once you make changes in exercise, then you start understanding it. Suddenly at first go, you don't understand all this. It becomes too much. But there is a role of stress and there is a role to release negative energy, and we've got various processes for that. There's a whole brain posture for that. There are letter writings, there is breath work, there's cyclic meditation, many things inside it. Then what I also see is many diabetics are not really having a very clear goal of their reversal. So this is kind of going on and on and on. Okay, so ठीक है अभी उम्र हो गया अभी ठीक है अभी क्या होगा देखते हैं I mean खा पी के मरते हैं. That is also a belief very common at times in diabetics. They're not really thinking of I'm going to be free, and what does that freedom look like, what does that freedom smell like, feel like, taste like. They're not done that properly, so they're not really programming their unconscious to become free. They're programming their unconscious to remain in the disease. गोली लेते रहो चलता रहेगा program. That's how they're programmed. So try to change that program through goal setting, SAF goals, vision boards, and all that, and really works wonders to engage their unconscious. We make them undergo fire walk. Can you imagine diabetics who got foot problems are made to undergo fire walk? What a liberation it is for them to go through it. Of course, we screen them. If we find the problem is big, we of course disallow them. But you make them go through fire walking, goal setting, success manifestation, meditations and all that. And maturing in 4 Brahma Viharas. Nitya Shanti might have covered it in the morning. He's a very dear friend. We've been together for many years and lifetimes in a way. And from him I learned about the 4 subtler emotions: Maitri, Mudita, Karuna and Upekka. So it's done as a part of the process. We never tell them we are doing this. The process does it because there's a mentor involved, there's a doctor involved, there's a dietitian involved, there's an exercise expert involved, they're helping each other. They don't realize, but they're growing in overcoming isolation, overcoming jealousy, overcoming mood swings, overcoming depression because of high and low sugars. So we try to work on that. And there are various processes for that: group healing, appreciation slips. We've got a special soul, mind, body healing process adapted from the work of Dr. Zhigang Shah, and it's Indianized. The sounds are completely Indianized, and that has a very different again experience for people when they feel energies inside outside the bodies, okay, which are never experienced before. So take them from very gross states to very subtle states, and that's how the inner transformation evolves. And while they are doing this, they are reporting daily to us. So we've got a unique system of 14 tests, and we kind of force people to do them. The reason being that most of them don't know what all are the deeper problems within them. 95% plus diabetics realize for the first time that the kidney is getting damaged when they do the 14 tests. 95%. They just don't know that there's a problem already breeding inside their body. Okay, so they go through the 14 tests, either repeated after it. There's supplement protocol. There's a training done for doctor on how to adjust the doses in a systematic way. And to do that, you need to use technology, otherwise it's not possible. So we've got a powerful app for daily monitoring and reviewing. So the app has the sugar levels, the medicines, and the chat all in one window. A doctor can go in and come out of the chat seeing 10 patients in how many minutes? 3 minutes. So we've got a doctor here. Can you please stand up? Dr. Kiran Vaswani, who is in from Navi Mumbai. She's a doctor associate over here. She's an MD in pediatrics, but as a part of her passion also helps diabetics. So she can see 10 patients, adjust their doses in 3 minutes. In 3 minutes. That's the speed of the app. So people log on their sugar levels and doctors are there to help them out. Okay. So that's how the app goes. So use technology with it. And very interestingly, because when you're talking of lifestyle disorders and all these, it's not only blood pressure. I've already told 500 plus patients, 2000 plus patients, 10 plus kg of body weight. You also have complications. You got complications related to kidneys, eyes, nerves, and even long-standing hypertension. So just some case studies on that. So here is a person with 17 years diabetes, 1.7 creat. The moment you cross 1.5, very difficult to bring it back, come back to normal. Let's go to the next one. Raju Nirmale, 3 creat. You go to 3 creat, it's never heard you come back below 1. That's the level of kidney problem. So he is normal now. It's come down below 1. Neuropathy, people have long-standing neuropathy, 10 years, 5 years. They take longer. It's not as quick as dropping off insulin. They may take 6 months, they may take 1 year. Some of them take 2 years. I think she took 2 years. But 22 years diabetic, 100 plus units of insulin, early age of diabetes, lot of uncontrolled sugars, completely off neuropathy. This is retinopathy case. You will not be able to see from far, but there is something called as a mild NPDR, little kind of stuff coming out, cotton wool deposits coming out on the retina. Between the first and the next graph, it's completely resolved. So that also reverses. Go ahead. And this is very interesting. 19 years of blood pressure with 3 different tablets. Okay, completely gone, gone. She's still free. She got free, I think, in 2016 and she's still free. Okay, so complications reversing. And how do we kind of define ourselves? Very simple, as diabetes reversal specialists who also enable healthier families. Because that's another interesting thing. Most of the spouses of diabetics. How many spouses over here of diabetics? So if you do that test, you will realize that there's some problem kind of brimming inside you also. Many of them realize they're on high fasting insulin. Some realize that the pre-diabetic stage has started. Some others realize they are full-blown diabetics. Okay, so you need to educate the full family, because the diabetic is just a representation of something wrong in the entire family. Okay, so it's important to work with the family, and that's what we do. Weight loss, BP, cholesterol, thyroid. We've got 30 patients who are free of thyroid medications. We've got, I think, a couple of dozen who are free of PCOD related problems, polycystic ovarian disease. Running marathons, climbing mountains, positivity, emotional change, good vibes, being a part of vibrant community. Let's go ahead. So in case anybody wants to explore more, in Pune we've got a full-blown program for 4 hours on 16th of December, and in Ville Parle and Thane on 22nd December. Pratik, where are you? So if anybody wants, you can collect the pamphlets from him as you move out. Okay, let's go ahead. And yeah, the best way to experience the protocols is to go through either a residential format, which is a follow-up for 1 full year after that, or the intensive, which is a non-residential format, 2 major programs of ours. And if you need any help, the number is very simple to remember. Everyone repeat after me, 777. Everyone after me, 777 60. And one more time. Okay. So that's a bit of the whole organization and the work and the results and the protocols in a short time frame that would be important and appealing to all of us. If you want, we can take some questions, or if we have time, or we can have some more testimonials of people. There are many of them who gathered over here. You want to hear some more testimonials? So, yeah, here's one testimonial sitting right here waiting to talk. Limited time, okay? He's the advocate from Chembur. So passionate, you'll hear him loud and clear now. Okay, the only thing I have to limit is the amount of time.
I am TV Ganesh. I am TV Ganesh, advocate from Chembur, and you would not believe it. I had a severe heart attack in 2013. I am diabetic from 2004, but after the attack, my diabetes shot up very high, and I had to go in for insulin. So by 2016, I was under insulin and 4 tablets for diabetes. Okay, I came to know about doctor only in 2016. Went and met him on 6th of August at Pune, a crowd of 250-60 people, and within an hour I was so much impressed that this vegan diet and without milk should be started. Started it. 8th, 9th, 10th, my diabetes went low. My insulin was stopped. Diabetes tablets went off. 2 tablets more went off by 20th. And now for past 8 months I am without any tablets. This is me. My weight was 90 kilos. At the time when I got attack I was 78. I had reduced it with certain exercises. And after that now my weight is only 56 kilos. My waist size was 42. Now 31. God bless. I want everyone to. One.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sanjeev Nimkar. I'm staying in Mumbai. I was diabetic for about 16 years. That was from 2002 to 2018. I'll say 2018. 2016, my HbA1c was around 12.9, and I was having a lot of health issues. And I was very panicked. And I was very lucky to come across Dr. Pramod ji in October 2016. I started following these practices on 19th October, and just within 27 days I could get rid of my insulin. I was only on tablets. That continued for about another 5 months, and I attended the residential program in April 2017. So there I gave up the medicines, and ever since then I have not taken a single tablet. I was on BP tablets, I was on cholesterol tablets, I was on sugar tablets and plus insulin. So, and this August I cleared GTT. So now I'm enjoying my life is sweet again, I'll say that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Yeah, please, go ahead. Shout. Exercise protocol, just go back to the exercise protocol. Go back, 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 back. Further back, 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 back. That's it. Okay. So exercise protocol revolves around 4 things. One is getting the lymph, the stuck up blood moving from the system to certain simple exercises. Second is increasing the strength through anti-gravity work, some degree of stamina building and some degree of yoga based practices. So 4 of them are there, 4 categories. So it starts with the world best warm up, okay, which is starts with the skin, the rubbing, then the joint play, there's the shaking, there's a tapping. So it's there on YouTube. Open file, it's there. It's a half-an-hour video. You can show it to your patients, your geriatrics and pediatrics. They'll enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun doing it. Okay. Then wherever trampoline is possible, it's really nice because that's very powerful. You do use it. Great. Then stair climbing works really well for diabetics and those who want to lose weight 2 hours after a meal, because that's the time when the sugars are at the peak. So you attack that time, bring the sugars down, disallow it from converting into fat. Dr. Mercola nitric oxide dump, it's available on YouTube. Resistance band weight training, I think we are all familiar with that. Stamina building will be swim, walk, jog, cycle. So here you bring in individualization, whatever they love doing, whatever they enjoy doing, you make them do that. And some degree of yoga based sequence. The typical process is 4-3-2. So like 4 units of strength building, 3 units of stamina building, 2 units of little energy work and yoga based practices, depending on their capacity. You push a thought to them. We push a thought to them that अगर मैंने आज आधा घंटा एक्सरसाइज नहीं किया तो मेरा दिन बकवास गया. It's a useless day I've led if I have not done half an hour or 45 minutes of exercise. So push that thought to them so that it kind of starts motivating them to start doing something from wherever they are and then slowly increase it. Sure. So time is up and I get a ting 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 ting. 10 minutes are left. Oh wow. So any more questions? Sure. Ask the question short, quick, because people are waiting. For thyroid. So this is a question for thyroid, how to reduce the medicines for thyroid. It's very simple. You keep measuring your TSH levels and T3, T4 levels. In the beginning it can be monthly intervals, depending on the trend, the way it is. If you find no great trend, it can be 3 monthly also. And as it comes down below 1, when TSH comes below 1, you first time experiment with reducing the dose. Okay, best done with the help of the doctor rather than you trying something on yourself. And then you again measure after a month and see what happens. And then take a call on it step by step. Type 1 diabetic, one of them is here. Look, if the type 1 diabetics quickly, early stop dairy, the results are phenomenally different. We've got Ruturva over here. बात करना है आपको आके? नहीं करना है, Ruturva डर रहा है. So you can talk with them separately later. There's another girl called Bhuvna over here in Bombay. She's gone off insulin, pretty stable sugars now. So they have to give up dairy first. Many of the kids we find, they're either taking a Parle-G biscuit every day or a milk and Parle-G biscuit every day, or some peda or something, or like in the teenagers where we are getting type 1s, regular consumption of chocolates or cheese, which is creating an allergic reaction inside the body. So they just need to stop that and align. Keep measuring the C-peptide levels at regular intervals, measure the antibody levels, and then see the reversal. 45 only. शुगर लो होने से पेन भी होगा और बहुत कुछ होगा, उसको कम नहीं होने देना. अच्छा सही खाना खाना, इंसुलिन दवाई कम करना, उनसे रेड हो जाना, फिर प्रॉब्लम नहीं आएगा. वो दवाई या इंसुलिन शुगर लो करता है. No. Foundation program, it becomes like the first session of the intensive program. So those who want to join the intensive, join on the day of the foundation. No. There are around 5 to 7% people who don't have diabetes, but they have, let's say, pre-diabetes or thyroid or PCOD who join and they benefit a lot. डिटेल्स प्रोग्राम आप फोन करना 77760 बाहर जाएंगे, हमारे कुछ लोग हैं वो भी आपको बता देंगे. यस प्लीज. That's created the diabetes. Steroid induced diabetes, very difficult to treat. You already been struggling with it, but whatever little or excess help will happen by following the same thing will happen. So at least align your other things correctly. Sure. So prevention for people who have family members who are diabetics, that's your question. So prevention and curative treatment is the same. Okay. Main thing to understand is you should read a book called Biology of Belief by Dr. Bruce Lipton. Biology of Belief. It very clearly shows that at the level of the chromosomes, there's something called as a dormant chromosome. Okay. I mean, all diabetic chromosomes are dominant chromosomes. The activation is dependent on not only the gene expressing randomly on its own, but because of the wrong diet and lifestyle pattern and getting into the mental emotional state that I get into a diabetic zone. So the beliefs start shaping up the expression of the chromosomes. So he says very clearly the dining table habits which we have inherited are more of a problem than the genes. So if you change that, it changes. 5 minutes left. Thank you very much. 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Stress, yes, it's a very powerful contributor cause for a certain percentage of people. But again, you need to be careful of the mental approach of anyone. You know, we tend to find one cause for a problem. So similarly, we tend to find one solution for a problem. Like there'll be a wave of bhindi water, there'll be a wave of Karela juice, there'll be a wave of, all kinds of things. The problem is not because of one reason, not only stress, not only fat. It's a combination of problems, and the different causes may be to a different degree relevant for an individual. So that individual needs to work on those causes to the degree that is relevant for one person. So don't try to search for one cause, don't try to search for one solution. It has to be a deeper understanding of the whole thing the way it is. Okay, yes please. Can't hear you, loudly please. Am I trying to write a book in future? I have written a manual which is like a bullet point summary of what I have talked about. It's I think available on stall number 31. Okay, we are in the process of writing a bestseller book, but I don't know when that's going to come up. Okay, but there is a simple manual which is you don't have to go through the frills. You come straight to the point. You can just pick it up. It'll be outside for $200.